everybody. Welcome back to the Comedy Castle podcast. I'm Joel Fragomeni. I'm your host. I'm going to tell you what's going on this week at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle in Royal Oak, Michigan, and it's a big week. Got 5 nights of shows for you starting Tuesday, the 10th of November. Probably as a lot of you are hearing this, I'm putting this up on a Tuesday for you. The 101 Comedy Class Showcase, a whole bunch of new comics. They've gone through the 101 comedy class with Bill Bouchard, and they're going to be entertaining you. The MC is a lady named Heather Van Galloway, who I taught in my advanced comedy class. Is very funny and charming. And it's going to be a great night, 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets for this show at comedycastle.com. And, of course, Wednesday the 11th, open mic returns at 7:30 p.m. A lot of fun people on the open mic this week. I saw the list. I believe my former student, Nazik Najjar, is going to be emceeing that show. I love Nazik. She's great. Bunch of funny people on open mic night. You can show up and buy a ticket for that or call for a reservation if you got a larger group, 248-542-9900. So that's Wednesday night open mic. And then Thursday to Saturday, Cam Rowe returns to headline. Cam is my guest this week. One of the funniest local comedians, and we had a great time talking today. We'll get more into that in a second, but we've got a big Thursday show at 7:30 p.m., and then we got 2 on Friday night, the 13th, at 7:15 and 9:45, and then Saturday night, the 14th, Cam is at 7 p.m. and 9:30, the usual show times. Some good comics opening this week, too. You'll hear us talk about them on there, Steve Hansen and Mike Jeter. Yeah, we talk about those in our interview. Fun interview with Cam. Good to have him back. But let's tell you a little bit about last week. I want to recap that for people who maybe came last week, heard me talking to Mike Stanley, wondering how it went. It went wonderfully. Mike did a great job headlining. He was terrific. Big laughs from him. Nick Lydorf as the feature was tremendous. I love Nick's stuff. And Ann Duke comes on. Came on to MC that show, and Ann is really, really doing well. I mean, not only as a comic, but also as a promoter. We'll talk a little bit. She puts together, along with Mike Jeter, the Traverse City Comedy Fest and a bunch of other shows. But you'll hear us talk about the Traverse City Comedy Festival coming up. Nothing officially that I or the Comedy Castle have to do with Traverse City Comedy Festival. It's Mike and Ann's baby, but you'll hear some stuff me and Cam started talking about. It was really good. But yeah, last week with Mike Stanley, fun shows, and I warned Cam, you'll hear in this interview, the Christmas parties are out. They're coming in to the Comedy Castle. It's a fun place to take your employees or your family, whoever you get around on the holidays. You're looking for something fun to do. A show, even this week, Cam Rowe. Unbelievable talent, funny guy that everyone will love. But we would have these shows. I mean, we did have a Friday afternoon private show to over 200 people who all got fabulous gifts, it seems. It was quite the event. Some real high-dollar catering, too. That was nice. And then we just had shows that would parties that would just be part of the regular shows on Friday and Saturday night, Thursday night, I think, too. Just 20 people coming out, getting a couple of the 10 tops, having a good time. So a lot of fun Christmas parties. And comics can be afraid. And you'll hear me and Cam talk about that a little bit. But Mike did a great job. Everyone seemed to be happy and in great spirits. We didn't have any issue with any of the parties. So if you're coming out to see Cam this weekend and you're at a holiday party, I don't want to hear nothing out of yous. You behave now, okay? All right. Well, let's get into Cam. And you know, we talk about Cam. If you want to hear my previous, let me look up what show Cam was on last here. With me, give me a second. He was on 152 with me, and he was also on podcast number 4 with Tom McCarthy. That was back in 13. No, that was a 19. 4/23/19. That show went up. But I interviewed Cam last year, and that was in August. And you want to hear Cam's backstory, what he's up to, I'd say go listen to that show. So for this one, we talked a lot about sports. We talked a lot about comedy. He says a lot of nice things about me and the comedy class that I teach, which is the advanced comedy class that starts January 11th. Please call the club at 248-542-9900 to sign up for that one. And yeah, it's just a nice talk. Cam's a nice guy, super fun to talk to. You'll hear us talk about the dearly departed recently comedian Norm Stoltz. You hear us talk about Lions and Pistons and Red Wings. Oh my. This is always, it's a fun talk with Cam. His act is tremendous. He's been headlining everywhere for the last year. That act has gotten really sharp. I'm really looking forward to these shows this weekend. And you're going to hear from Cam right now. How about we throw to that? Here's Cam Rowe, everybody. I'll be back after this. Ladies and gentlemen, on the other end of my line, I'm welcoming back Cam Rowe to the Comedy Castle podcast. What's up, Cam?
What's up, Joel? And the Comedy Castle staff. How you guys doing, man?
Well, hey, we're doing good. It's going to be a fun weekend with you. Yes. And, you know, I feel like we talked yesterday about That's you right. coming in headlining. But, hey, what an honor to you know, do it for the first time headlining. And now be back, a little over a year later, and you're doing it again.
I'm doing it again, man. I appreciate it. I feel like a vet now. I feel like a comedy vet, even though I'm not, but I feel like one, you know. And I'm excited though, man. I'm really excited. It all started with taking your class back in the day. Told me, you know, you gave me the best pointers in the world.
And man.
Everything you said, I became a headliner after that. So thank you.
It just shows that, you know, your weekend was terrific, the last one.
Thank you,
I mean, it really was. And I'm not just saying that, but, you know, I always, you know, I will give you a quote from Mark Ridley himself.
Yeah.
And he says this about headlining, you know, comics is a big deal for him to get the chance to headline. He says, everyone gets the chance to do it once.
Yeah.
Not everyone gets a chance to do it twice.
That's right. That's right.
So if you've done it twice, and you were saying before we went on here that you actually did some sort of a private show or something earlier this year.
I did. Yeah. So I did a headlining one-nighter on Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was probably at that show, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yep, you were. And now I'm doing a full 5-day weekend. So I had Dream Cruise the first time in August, right? Now I got Christmas vacation, so you know maybe next time around I'll get you know.
Well,
I'm graduating each time, so that's good. Man.
This is what I would say to look forward to, or get ready for this weekend. Okay.
Yes.
This is what I think. Christmas parties.
Okay.
And not like the whole room is a Christmas party. I don't think we're gonna have that. But like over this past weekend, we had. Like probably one night there were 8 Christmas parties of over 20 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. For real?
Yep.
All right.
And they're all spread out all over the room. Everywhere you look. A group of 20.
Okay.
So we had that last weekend. Now, the shows were great. Mike Stanley did a nice job.
That's good.
People had a good time.
Mike.
Mike is. But, you know, they're going to love you too. You know what I mean?
Thank you. How could you not love a big 6'9" giant like myself, right?
I think I've seen people hate almost everything there. It's at one point or another. But the thing about the challenge of the Christmas party for a comedian is that they are there, not necessarily because they love comedy. The boss told them they have to come to the Christmas.
Exactly. They have to come.
Yeah. And then the wife has to come with the guy that works there, or the husband with the woman that works there. You know, so you always have this thing. The worst thing for a comedian, in my opinion, is to play to an audience that doesn't want to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what? I'm just going to do my thing. I'm so grateful, honestly, just to be invited back to not only, I mean, headlining is fantastic, but just to be invited back, be booked for Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle. I think it's just an honor because, you know, there's so many people that want to do the Comedy Castle, and the fact that, you guys still think of me and book me. I'm really grateful and just honored. So thank you guys.
We can see. I mean, I hope you consider it your home club here in Michigan.
I do, of course, man, of course.
But it's not just the Comedy Castle that's using you. I see all your social media all throughout the year. You're everywhere headlining.
Yeah, man. I've headlined I think every club except Dr. Grand's in Michigan. I've done headline the Comedy Showcase, One Night Stand.
There you go.
Pretty much everywhere, all over, man. So I appreciate it. But it started with your class, Joe. I'm telling you, man. It started with your class. That was it.
All right, and you've gotten those Venmo payments I've been sending you. But to say it right, I'll edit this out, Cam. Don't worry, we can admit it. But yeah.
That's right, man.
Yeah, I'm paying you well to say that. So
I'm excited, man. Oh, and I got to say this too. When I first got the opportunity to headline, I got a message from my guy, the late great Norm Stoltz, who just told me "Welcome to the club," and shout out to Norm and his family.
Really.
He was my guy. He really looked out for me. And just to get a message like that from him on my headlining weekend last August, I just get emotional thinking about it. But just some of that stature to take the time out to send me a message,
right?
It's just incredible.
Yeah, so, he really did that for he helped when I was starting out 25 years ago. He was helping me out, and that was a real interesting thing to see. Comics that have been in it for 2 years. Talking about Norm and how much he helped them. And, guys like you have been around a little longer, but, he really touched everybody in comedy that he worked with. You felt just being in a room watching him made you better because you were just picking up what he was doing.
It did. And he had so much energy. I mean, I would do my jokes and I would do good, right? But then I would see Norm and I'm like, wow, there's so much more I can do. So I really learned from him. Big time, and every time I go out on stage, man, I think of Norm, and I really try to do that.
Norm's a guy that nobody wanted to follow.
Never.
Because I remember him coming through the Comedy Castle for a few, fundraiser type things that were more like showcases, people doing 20 minutes or whatever, and he always closed. There was nobody that would even want that last spot.
A funny story about Norm is when, because, and Joel, how this is, when you start featuring and doing really, really well, people kind of whisper to you hey, you should have been the headliner. So you feel like that you can be the headliner. But at the time, I probably had a good 30, right? I didn't have that other 15, but people are telling me I should have been the headliner. So this is probably 10 shows in a row where people were telling me that. Yeah. So my next show is with Norm. And I'm like, I was feeling myself a little bit, and you know me, I'm like the nicest, humble guy. But I was feeling myself because people were telling me this stuff. So I go to Norm, and I'm halfway joking with Norm. I said, man, I've been seeing you all over. You've been doing great. I said, yeah, Norm. I said, good luck after I go up. I don't know if you can follow me, but I'm joking with him, right?
Right.
I get on stage. I have a good set. He gets off like right before I get on stage. I mean, right before he gets on stage, as I'm passing him, he said, "Good job. Now watch this shit." And he got on stage and just destroyed, man.
And I'm sure working with a guy like you made him have to work a little bit harder, but he was up to the challenge, man. He could follow anybody. He never, and he didn't have an ego about it, but you knew he had the confidence to go out there and no matter what was in front of him, because, I'm sure guys are bombing in front of him, and I'm sure guys are doing it for him. And my opinion as a comic is always, it's better to follow a good comic than a bad comic.
Yes, for sure.
Which a lot of new comics don't understand that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are afraid to have the good people in front of you, things like that. But it's so much better. It's so much better. Yeah. For that, because it just makes for a better show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's great. Yeah. And honestly, I mean, even shows I do to this day, I really do not care where I go in the lineup. I just want to have a good show every time.
Yeah.
Good set. I think about that. But like I said, I'm always appreciative to get these headlining gigs. And like I said, to be invited back to the Comedy Castle is truly an honor.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's great to have you. And let's talk a little bit about let's move aside from comedy. I got to get your opinion on some sports things going on right now. Listen,
yeah.
Because you got your family, sports family. People know about your dad, Curtis, from the Pistons, and and UCLA and all that.
That's right. I talk about it enough, don't I?
You do. And listen, I got to meet Curtis the last time you headlined the Comedy Castle.
That's right.
I had that honor.
You know what, man? My sister brought him to a show and surprised me, which was great.
Yeah.
Because number one, it was at the Comedy Castle.
Yeah.
So thank God it wasn't like a bar on like on like the East Point or something like that. It was great. She brought him. It was the first time ever seeing me do comedy. And I had a really good set. And my father is very, very funny.
Mm-hmm.
So, the fact that I was able to do that in front of him was just incredible. So, that was great.
He's in a real good mood. It was a real pleasure talking to him. And, but you were a football guy as well, right? You played football?
Well, so, yeah. I played a little bit of football in high school, but mainly basketball.
Basketball was your thing? Okay.
Yeah, exactly, basketball. But, I mean, the Lions are doing great. I'm excited. I'm so excited that...
my point is they got a lot of injuries on defense, Cam, and... Yeah. I don't know if you still fit in the uniform, brother, but I mean, you got a little pass rush in you, You know what? I will go out there. If I go out there, the Lions are going to go back to their record from like 3 years ago. I promise you. But we're going back to Owen. We're going back to the fucking Rod Marinelli years.
That's right. I will be hated around Detroit. They were like, fuck Cam Rowe.
You ruined it.
That's right.
You blew it up. Yeah, well. But how far? What do you see the Lions? I mean, there's 4 regular season games left. We've already made the playoffs. Where do you see them going? What's the postseason hold for?
If my FanDuel is correct, the Lions are going to the Super Bowl. Lions are going all the way, man. Super Bowl.
Right. I mean,
now, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but they're going to the Super Bowl.
They're going to go.
They're going to go.
So they took that little step at the championship game last year. Got there, and then didn't make it. Now this year they'll take another step, make the Super Bowl, but lose to whom in the Super Bowl?
Oh, see, you know what? That I don't know. I don't know that. And okay, let me take that back. The Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. There you go.
Well, how about what?
I don't want any hate mail after this.
You could say, hey, the Lions beat the Bills this week.
Yeah.
And then the Bills get their revenge in the Super Bowl. Beat the Lions.
In the Super Bowl? Oh, man, I don't know, man. Honestly, but you never know. I mean, if they get there, they could just, they could do it and they can go all the way. But no, I really feel like they're going to make it there. I honestly do. I have that feeling.
Yeah, look, I'm no sports expert, but I've watched a lot of football in my day, and I felt like there are games when the Lions, when they're firing on all cylinders, that they're going to beat anybody. And I wouldn't have said that about last year's team, but even as good as they were. But I would say this year on some of those weeks when just everything was hitting and Goff was, perfect passer rating and all that, it's like if they play like that, they're going to smoke Kansas City.
Yeah, they are, man. And you know what? I heard that if they do make it to the Super Bowl, there's a possibility that Hutch could come back. Shout out to
there you go.
Back. And shout out to my main man Tim Finkel. Hutch is actually sending his son Ryder messages and things like that. They've been communicating. So just for hope of Hutch coming back, I think it's fantastic.
Right. Yes, that would be fantastic. And certainly,
great.
I mean, you talk about that emotional lift, like how can you get your team up to play the big game? Well, if Hutch comes back, well, then that's it right there.
That's it. I mean, if you think about this is like kind of before my time, but it makes me think of Willis Reed back in the day, like when my father was playing ball. The New York Knicks, they won the championship. Willis Reed was their captain, their go-to guy, but he had gotten hurt, kind of like how Hutch is. Yeah. But he played in the game and scored the first 2 baskets. That's all he scored throughout the game. And the Knicks ended up winning the championship because everybody was just so excited to see Willis Reed dressed up. If he just dresses up and goes on the field, I think that's great.
Just happening. Well, I was the Detroit Red Wings when I forget the exact year, but when they won the championship and then they had that car accident with Konstantinov, if you remember this year, and Vladdy never played hockey again, but he was sort of a part of that team emotionally, and they went back and repeated and won the Stanley Cup the next year.
Yep,
and they had Vladdy out on the ice with them in a chair. celebrating. It was terrific.
Exactly.
That feels a little like that. Yeah, it feels a little like
that. I think so, man. I think with the right momentum, we can do it. Can you imagine the record we used to have a few years ago and then us winning the Super Bowl? That's awesome, man.
I tell people this about the Lions because people go, you used to go to the games all the time. I say, yeah, but I mean, when I went to the game, it was like $70 to get in. I went. I think I went to one Joey Harrington season, where I went to all 8 home games.
Yeah, I
was that diehard for a while there.
Yeah,
and then eventually I just went like, you know what, I'm done. I can't go. I can't. I'll still watch when I can at home, and I'll do all that, and I still support the team. But just going to the games, I just lost. We just lost our way there for a while.
Yeah, I know, man. I know that happened. But I don't think that's going to happen with the Lions. I think, they're going to be good for a long time. I think this is going to be the dynasty Lions.
Yeah, and they finally found a coach. For God's sake.
Exactly. I know, man.
My God, some of these bozos. Just bozos.
We've had the worst luck with coaches, but now we're good, man.
Just bozos.
We're good to go. We just got to get the Pistons rocking and rolling.
All right. So what are the Pistons? Now listen, I do not follow the NBA on a regular basis. Where are the Pistons? Where are they heading?
Okay, I'll tell you this. The Pistons are so bad, they asked my dad to come out of retirement last week. That's how bad.
All right.
They said, we will triple your salary, sir. That's what they said. I don't know, man. I haven't been following them this year. I've done some comedy shows with the great Rick Mahorn.
Okay, yeah, I've met Rick. Yeah, Rick's come to the club.
Yeah, that's right. So Rick is starting to do a little bit of comedy. So I've been opening up for him, and then Rick gets out there and does some stuff. So I don't know. He says that they're going to be pretty decent this year. So we'll see.
Where are there? Shouldn't they be getting great draft picks every single season at this point?
Yeah, they should, man. But some of these young kids, they get that multi-million-dollar check, and a lot of them, not everybody's Kobe Bryant, right? So it just depends on their work ethic, and how they're going to perform. But yeah, no, we definitely get the best people or the best prospects, but it just depends on how they're going to pan out,
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be a while till I get back into basketball, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I was certainly into the Bad Boys. That was I think those were my last 2 years of high school when they won those championships.
Oh, really?
And then even the Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton years, I was into that too.
Yep. Oh man, that was great. That's what I was in college then.
Yeah.
Rick Hamilton, 2004 is when I graduated.
So yeah, the Malice at the Palace. That was that same.
Yes. I was there.
Oh, you were at that game?
I was at that game. So my first time out of college, I was a production assistant for the Detroit Pistons.
Okay.
So that game, and that was the craziest thing that I've ever experienced. I saw Ron Artest. He was walking back to the locker room, just screaming and going crazy. And those guys, even though I'm a pretty tall dude, right? Like those dudes are tall, but they were just like in shape and
yeah.
I was like, let me get out of their way. This is crazy.
Yeah, those guys. But then Artest, he kind of chilled out, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He changed his name. He's like I don't know what he's totally different now than what he was back then.
Oh my God. I saw something about the Malice at the Palace and I'm like, what? And the fans just on the court?
Yeah, dude, that was the craziest thing in the world. I mean, so many people got injured, but it was funny because that's how Detroit fans are. We were throwing, pop on them and all that stuff and fighting them left and right. But that's how Detroit is. That's great.
Yeah. I miss the Palace, man. That was a great place.
I do too.
I mean, the parking was bad, and some people complain, I can't get out of parking lot. It takes 2 hours.
Yeah.
But to watch a game there, that place was terrific.
I know, man. But now, I have not been to Little Caesars Arena yet.
Not for anything? No? Oh, man.
Oh, I have not been there yet. So.
Well, here's my advice.
Yeah.
Don't go up too high.
Okay.
Because that thing gets steep, and even the second level is super steep. try to sit in the lower level, or even if you're going to like a concert or something, get a floor seat.
Okay.
Because you do not want to walk up and down those decks, man. It is brutal.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
those decks are brutal. And in a way, it's like, well, your view is better because you're sort of like, for example, in hockey, you're sort of hanging over the ice a little bit more than you would have been at like Joe Louis Arena. But it's like the guy behind you is just like his knees are like in your head. It's just not good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, especially a big dude like you. You ain't going.
I know, man. I'm in the way, man. I know that. Like, yes, right. Because like the higher you go up, the smaller the seats are, right?
Yes.
So yeah,
it's not good.
Not gonna work for me.
I've seen a few concerts there. I've seen I think one Red Wings game. I've seen professional wrestling there.
Oh my gosh.
Don't go if you don't have. Okay. I mean, literally. Well, me and my fiance complained about the floor seats we had for wrestling once because we were at the end of the row because she likes to sit at the end of the row to have a little more space. Yeah. These seats are so tiny. We were the last two people in the row to show up. We couldn't even sit in our seats.
Oh my God! Well, if you guys couldn't, I definitely could.
But here's what happened though. I have to give him credit, and this is kind of what I do at the Comedy Castle. The guy, like the usher guys, like he got on the walkie-talkie and he gave us just a couple of folding chairs right down there.
Oh, that was nice.
It was nice. I think they're probably for like handicapped folks, but no one bought them or no one else needed them. And he kind of checked with the supervisor. He said, "You guys sit here." We had all the room in the world at that point.
Oh, okay.
But listen,
that's good.
You got to call in. You're Cam Rowe. You call in a favor. You go, listen, I'm Cam Rowe, headliner of the Comedy Castle.
That's right.
I took Joel's class. Throw that in. I don't know if that helps, but
that's right, man. Because you still do the class, right?
Oh yeah. We got another one. January 11th is the next one. We just did a little graduation showcase last week for the
that's awesome.
The group
man.
that just finished. But I've kind of got December off, and we come back in January. I hosted the graduation showcase last week.
That is great, man. Because you've had a few people from your class headline the castle now, right?
Yeah. Melanie Hearn, who actually was part of my show last week as a guest. She's headlined it. You've headlined it. When Tim does his spot next year, Tim Finkel. As another veteran of the class that I've had down there. So, yeah.
Oh, man, Tim's great. Melanie and Tim are great. They're some of my favorites. So that's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of good people have gone through there. So if you want to be a pro, you want to be Cam or one of these people, Melanie Hearn, I don't know. But look, I've been teaching that class for 10 years. So, that's probably, 6 or 7 of those a year by, 10, so I've taught hundreds and hundreds of people at this point.
Yeah, man, it really, honestly, Joe, I'm not just saying it is an excellent, I really did learn a lot. You talk about a lot of things, a lot of stuff from your experiences and just how to be a professional comic.
Yeah.
You really touch on that. So
that's sort of what I tell people is, you got to learn how to be a professional because there's things that you do as a professional that, it's not merely, you just, they say your name and you walk up, you talk in a microphone, you walk off stage and go home. There's way more to it than that.
Exactly.
And you got to learn that.
Exactly.
And then,
because that's the thing, you could be funny, but not professional, and that's going to stop you from getting bookings too.
Yeah. And I've seen that sort of trap happen to people. I see people who, get frustrated that they're not moving up as quickly as they think they should be. Yep. And so they think people are out to get them, which I think I would try to assure anyone that's new to comedy that, I mean, look, I don't want to say in 1,000% it's never happened, but people are not out to get you. It really is not most people in comedy are worried about themselves more than they are about you, and especially when you talk about, people that run the clubs and maybe, hey, there's a lot of clubs. There's a lot of rooms that people book. Maybe there's petty people out there, but that Comedy Castle staff, that's not us.
That's not you guys. No, you guys are the best staff. I mean, honestly, man, I've just been so lucky, because I started in California. And then when I moved to Michigan, I was like, I don't know about the comedy scene. I was just thinking about being in LA. It's so much better than LA, especially for a newer comedian. because you get so much more time to perform and to work on your craft. I mean, I came from LA. I had only 10 minutes, right? And I actually called the Comedy Castle, and I was like, I just called. I said, hey, can I get a spot? And they were like, wait, who are you? Like, what are you talking about? Because I just thought I could just call and get on. But it was a whole process. So that's when I ended up taking your class because I said, hey, I want to learn. Yeah. I want to learn this business, and this is the club that I want to work. So,
all right. Well, aside from taking my class, let's give the young comedians who might be listening to this one piece of advice on how they can move up, how they can better their craft.
Better your craft, get on stage as much as possible. I mean, I know it might sound cliche, but stage time is everything. If you have an idea, anything, you're talking with your friends and it's funny, write it down. I've just gotten better at that myself, but write it down. Yeah. Anything that your friends laugh at, write it down, write down everything, and then work it out on stage.
Yeah.
Go to an open mic, go to, if you have a show where you're doing a longer set, throw that in the middle. Right? Yeah. Throw it out there and see if the people like it. But yeah, man, that's my biggest advice.
Yeah, I agree. That's a big one. And the other thing about just getting on stage is you never know who's going to see you.
Exactly.
And I tell people this, I say, the most work that you're going to get in comedy is from other comedians.
That's right.
The other comedians, because some people are like, I don't care about these comedians, or, this guy books a room, you should probably be friends with him. Well, that guy's a hack. I don't like him. But like, he can help you. Like, don't hate these people. Try to, it's so funny how people get, somebody doesn't book them and all of a sudden they're the problem. And it's kind of like, no, they're
not. They get so upset. Especially these, it's so funny, man. Like these festivals, if someone doesn't get in, they make all these Facebook posts. Oh my God, it's so funny.
Man. I just want to. We'll say a little prayer here if you're good with this, Cam. I'm not a religious man, but a little prayer for Mike Jeter and Ann Duke as they go into the next Traverse City Comedy Festival in April.
That's right, man.
Because I saw Ann over the weekend, and I know Mike Jeter's your feature this week. But
that's right. That's right.
We just had Ann emceeing, and we were talking a little bit about the festival. We weren't even actually talking about the submission process, but she's got some really good headliners booked. We were talking about that. But yeah, last year a lot of people were upset at them about who got booked, and then when I saw the list of comics, I'm assuming you were on that, right, last year?
Yeah.
When I saw the list of who they booked, it was like, oh, these are professional comedians who do it for money.
Yeah.
And the people that were upset were not those people. They were people who are still, basically on open mic, and they were upset.
Exactly.
So maybe they will have some, some spot for those folks as well.
Well, but, so I think that, number one, Jeter and Ann, they do such an amazing job with that.
Right.
I've been in a few festivals. Number one, this festival, if you do get selected, it's paid. You get a hotel, which is very rare for a lot of festivals. A lot of times you have to pay your own way.
Yeah.
To do that. But in addition to that, they have open mics. So even if you don't get accepted,
there you go.
Other shows that the comedians can do, and they're still complaining about it, which is ridiculous.
It's like people that don't get it, and it's exactly when I talk about comedy festivals in the class, I say, look, they may not take you. You're going to spend money to submit, and you might not be ready. And don't take it personally. Yeah. It's a numbers game. There's hundreds and hundreds of people want to take you, and
exactly. Or maybe the video that you submitted just isn't good.
Right,
maybe you're good, but the video's not good that you submitted.
It's just there's a lot of reasons they're not going to take you. Don't get upset about it. Figure out to make yourself better. And then you'll be, I always say people, I said, well, look, are you being invited to these things? Or are you trying to, because once you're good, you might not even have to submit.
Exactly. And I just want to say, Jeter, if I don't get in this year, I'm not speaking to you.
We'll have to sort that out this weekend. You and him, listen, Jeter.
That's right.
Thing. You're going to use
that's
Cam.
Gonna be fun, man. That's my main man, Jeter. And then Steve Hansen, which is great.
Yes.
And, like when I was starting out, I opened up for both of them. So it's just an honor, to have them on the show this weekend too. That's great, man.
Yeah, I love Hansen as well. So we'll He says he's retiring after this week. I don't know if you know.
Oh, no, he's not. No,
That's what he said. I know. I believe me. I could see. I always feel like comics say, I'm done, I'm retired, and then somebody calls them and offers them money, and then they go back and do that gig. So that's how I feel.
Of course, man. This is like, it's almost like a drug. You just can't let it go, man. It's like it's too much, man. It's too much exciting things that happen in comedy.
Yeah.
And I hope that Steve has the best weekend of his life and reconsiders his decision.
I do too, because he's one of the best joke writers I know. And he's a terrific joke writer, man. Really, really sharp, smart guy. There's parts of the business he doesn't like, and I understand that, and that's frustrating. But
and there's some comedians that are just smart and not funny, but Steve is both.
Yeah, he is.
So he should do it, man. I think he's great.
He can do it if he wants to do it. And if he wants to, listen, I respect his. If he chooses to retire, I will respect that. But at the same time, if I needed a real funny guy, I'd probably say, "Hey, look, Steve, I know you haven't done this in a year. Let's do it. Come on."
Exactly.
Jump in the car. Let's go to the gig, dude.
That's right. That's right. But he can't turn it. I don't think he's going to turn that down.
As someone who is sort of retired from the road myself, you make me an offer, I'll go do your road gig.
Exactly, man.
I'll happily come work for you, but you gotta put some dollars on the table for me. But
well, you know what, man? When I get my own show, I'm gonna take you with me.
Dude, I'd love it. I'd be such an honor.
That's right, man.
That's it, man. Hey, listen, great talking to you again, dude. This is fantastic.
You too, Joel.
Always love talking to you. One of the nicest guys in show business that I've met. Complete pro, great act. If you want to bring, listen, if you are coming for a Christmas party, you're gonna love the show. If you bring, if you come to see Cam. This is the show. You can bring grandma, right? You can bring.
That's right.
You can bring the kids if they're 18.
That's right. Exactly, man. I'm pretty PG-13. You know what I mean? I'm pretty good. Bring the whole family. I like to have fun, and like I said, it's just truly an honor to be invited back to do the Comedy Castle. And no matter what happens in my career, I will always do the Comedy Castle at all times. Right. So it's great.
That's great, Cam. Glad to know you're psyched for this one. It's not just another weekend on the calendar.
No, it is not, man. I'm excited. Like I said, moving up in the headliner ranks.
That's
right?
it, brother.
December now. I'm excited, and
December.
I can't wait. It's gonna be
prime
fun,
time, holiday time.
Yes. That's
big
right,
crowds,
man.
Big crowds. All right, Cam. We'll see you this weekend, dude. Thanks for talking.
All right, Joel. Thank you, man.
Cam. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, he really did put me over, didn't he? Whew. He really did say a lot of nice things about me and the class, and that means a lot. That was really great. Cam, you're a gentleman. You're a top-rate entertainer. You're a great guy. You're having tons of success. And look, comics, hey, it helps if you're a nice guy. It helps if you're really good at comedy. But other things like being a nice guy, very helpful as well. And Cam is certainly that. And it's going to be so much fun this weekend. I'm really looking forward to these shows. So come on out, all right? Go to comedycastle.com. Get your tickets for Cam. Get your tickets for the 101 Comedy Showcase. If you're coming out, maybe most of you hearing this on Tuesday, or you might have missed it if you're listening later. But, yeah, fun stuff, man. Cam's great. He was at the Malice at the Palace. Holy Toledo. Oh, man. What a guy. Great weekend coming up for you. Get your tickets. The advanced comedy class, as always, 248-542-9900. If you've done the beginner class and you want to do more comedy, sign up for the advanced comedy class. You'll love it. You'll dig it. And, of course, Bill Bouchard's great 101 class. He does a great job. We're heading into the holidays. Come out to the castle. Bring the holiday party. Let's do it. Let's have fun with Cam this weekend. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next week, all right? We'll leave you on that. We'll catch you next week. Come see us this weekend with Cam Rowe. You'll love it. You will. Bye-bye.